Lesson 9.4, graphing cube root functions. Objective, student will graph cube root functions and find their key features. So look a little bit different than yesterday, but the form will be similar. So, well, first off, this is not a square root, so we got to change it. I hope yours says it right. Mine doesn't. This should say cube root. I should have proofread this, but it's all good. There we go. The cube root standard form is y equals a, the cube root of x minus h plus k. So very similar to yesterday, except we're looking at a cube root rather than a square root. So that means, yep, you start with your vertex, which is the hk. H is always the opposite because x is lie. And then the same stuff from before. H is your horizontal shift, left or right. K is your vertical shift, up or down. A is flipped if negative. Continuing on. Oh, did I forget something? Nope, we're good. Continuing on. Vertex. It's called the twist now, or the turning point is what we're going to call it on our graph. This is where we're going to start our graph. Okay? Is find the vertex. We're going to plot that point. All right? And I'll show you how to find some other points so you can get this. This is what it's going to look like. This is our graph for a cube function. It's going to look like a little snake in a sense. So we're going to want to make sure our graphs look like this. X-intercept, we talked about yesterday. Same thing. It's where the graph crosses the x-axis. Okay, we've done that many times before. You can plug in 0 for y and solve. Kind of like we did for 9.2. Y-intercept, where the graph crosses the y-axis. So we're going to plug in 0 for x and then solve, which is what we did for singly pretty much every unit we have actually had to find the y-intercept for. It's always 0 for x, solve for y. So hopefully we'll get it down. Steps to sketch a cube root function. First, start with the vertex. Just like yesterday, we're going to find that vertex first. Opposite of h, same as k. Should be able to pull that off quickly. Then we're going to make a table with that vertex, but this time we're going to put the vertex in the middle. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean. It's not going to start the table off. It's going to be put in the middle. Okay, because we got to get both sides of this curve, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. Plot the points once we make that table and get the values, and I think 3 should be enough here. And then, of course, graph and draw our curve shape that, of course, looks like this right here. This is when the a value is positive. When it's negative, it's just flipped. So it's going to come in high and then turn and go down low. So let's actually try one out. Number 1, y equals a cube root of x minus 1 plus 2. So like we said, we want to get that vertex first. So let's get it out of the way really quick. Again, if you need help, you can always write in that form, which is a times the cube root of x minus h plus k, which gives my vertex to be a 1, 2. When we make our table, we're going to put that in the middle, 1, 2. And we want to go, and that's what this was saying as step 2, we want to make sure we have an x value to the left of that and an x value to the right of that. So my h value, oops, wrong direction, was a 1, so let's go to the left of 1, which means that will be 0, and the right of 1 will be 2. Now we're going to need to plug these values in for here. There is no pattern. Sorry about that. You're going to have to just plug and chug and use your calculator. So we're going to find the cube root of 0 minus 1 plus 2, and then the cube root of 2 minus 1 plus 2. Get our awesome handy-dandy calculator out, which according to mine's on the other screen. Now we got it over here. Let's do this so we can see both of them. There we go. So we're going to put this in. Let me clear it out. And so I want a cube root. How do I get the cube root? Good question. You're going to press Shift and then this top hat. It will now allow you to put a 3 in the root position and then press over to get down inside the radical. And now we can do 0 minus 1. Make sure you get outside of it for the positive 2, since it is on the outside in our equation. Oh, and 2 did not work. There we go. Enter it in. We get a positive 1. Now let's look at the other side. So to go with 2, let's see. We can actually just highlight this. I mean, that's what I would do. I can use my arrows. Highlight that, press over, and then just go back and change that 0 to a 2. Why would I do? Why type it in twice? I mean, that's way more work, people, duh, right? And we get a 3. Now we have enough values here to graph this. This is all we need. We don't need to go any farther. We can, but really we're just getting a quick sketch of it. That's all we need. So let's go ahead and actually sketch this out, and then we'll look at these other things we got to find. The x-intercept, the y-intercept, and of course the domain and range. So we graph our vertex first. That was the middle one right here. So 1, 2. So over 1 up 2. Then we graph our other 2 points, which of course are ones to the right and ones to the left. So 0, 1. Oh, cool. That's a y-intercept. We found that one. And then 2, 3 right here. And then it's unique, but the graph is going to come in, hit the point, and then at the vertex is where it turns and then opens up the other direction. It's like I'm drawing 2 square root functions back to back in a sense. There you have it. You just graphed your first cube root function. Now, x-intercept. Well, remember the x-intercept, we plug in a 0 for y and solve for x. So that just goes back to what we did in 9.2. So we're going to take this equation, the cube root of x minus 1 plus 2. We're going to set it equal to 0, and we're going to solve for x. Minus 2 minus 2. Now we have the cube root of x minus 1 all by itself equal to a negative 2. We're going to now cube both sides because that's the opposite of a cube root. We get x minus 1 equals negative 2 to the third power, I believe, is a negative 8. We're going to add 1 to both sides, and we get x equals 7. So then we have 7, 0 for our x-intercept. That doesn't look right. Negative 7 because I didn't do my math right here. Negative 8 plus 1 is a negative 7. So there you go. Y-intercept, we actually got lucky. We found it when we actually used, when we found our points to graph this. So there it is, 0, 1. And then I love the domain and range of these because since we have arrows going left and right, down and up for every cube root function, the domain is negative infinity to positive infinity. For every cube root function, the range is also negative infinity to positive infinity. So easy to do domain and range on these. Now the square root was different because we had to use the vertex, but for cube roots, it's all real numbers is what we usually say. All right, first one down, next one to go. Sweet, we got a negative 1. Love it. All right. First step again, find the vertex. Again, if you need to write that thing underneath it because you still can't find your h and your k quick, by all means do so. It'll help you out. Looks like it's the opposite of a negative 5, so it's a positive 5, and same as k, negative 1. We're going to put that in the middle of our table. Remember, we're going to go 1 to each side of this 5, which is our vertex. So if I go before 5, before, because it's a 4, and if I go after 5, I get to 6, my favorite number. Now we got to plug these in. Again, there's no pattern on these. At least I have not seen it, and I wouldn't even try to risk there's a pattern. Don't forget, there's a negative in front, so when you put in your calculator, I'll show you how to do it one more time. And then, yeah, I believe the next 2 examples are yours to do, because I ain't doing them. I mean, I'll do them after the fact that, you know, most of you just probably copy what I do and not actually pause the video. But, you know, to each their own, right? We don't care. Actually, I do care, but, you know, it's your thing. Oh, I wanted to do it on the thing. That's right. Let me pop it up. Hold on. I was doing my calculator in my hand. I wanted to show you. So let's clear it out because I like clear screens. Again, it's shift top hat to get that cube root. Oh, exit. Nope, I messed up. We forgot that there's a negative in front. So negative, then shift that top hat caret guy. Cube root, go on the inside. 4 minus. Oh, I did pop up. There he goes. 5. Get out of the root and then go -1. It's working slowly. You must know it's Friday. And we get 0. Oh, cool. Oh, wow. That might be one of our key features here. Love that when that happens. Don't you? Then let's actually just scroll back up and do the other one. I'll write over here because obviously I don't think you wrote it yet. And that is a negative cube root of 6 minus 5 minus 1. I mean, you can do these in your head. It's really easy. I mean, you're just taking a cube root of a -1 or a 1. It's not that, but, you know, let's work smarter, not harder. Let's go back up here. We're going to press those arrows, scroll over, and change that 4 now to a 6. Because again, we already got it written in. Why do we want to do it twice? And we get a negative 2. Now, let's graph those points. Let's see. We always graph the vertex first because that's our turning point. 5, negative 1. So that's 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 1 right here. We got 4, 0 being one of our points to the left. And then to the right, 6, negative 2 right here. So this one, since it's negative in front, is going to come in like this, hit these points, turn at the vertex, and start going the opposite direction, like so. There you go. If you have hard trouble drawing these lines, let me know. I can totally help you out. I can, hold the pencil with you to make sure you can draw these. They're tough, but I know you can do them. All right, let's get the key features. Like I said, I think we already found one, and I do believe this one right here is a special key feature. And since the y is 0, yep, that is our x-intercept. Plus, we can see it. Duh, we plot the point on the x-axis. But for those people who didn't realize that, we helped you out there. Y-intercept, we do not have. We got to find that. Well, it's easy to find a y-intercept. It's the same thing to find any y-intercept of any function. You plug in 0 for x, and you solve, which means use the calculator. Hold on a second. Rosa says hi for all those people who know her. She's a little quirky, but she's good. All right, back to this now. Here we go. Let's get the cube root of this. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do the calculator one more time. This is the last piece I'm doing. So here we go. We want to put this guy right here into it. So we're going to do, what was it, negative. Oh, wait, we already have it. Oh, yeah. Let's just scroll up, highlight over, change this 6 to a 0 to find our y-intercept, and we get, a decimal. But that's okay. It's not always going to be perfect. So let's just round this to the close we can. I'm going to say that's a 0.71, I think is good. So we got 0, 0.71. And the domain and range, well, we should already know this because like I said with problem 1, the domain and range for cube functions are always going to be negative infinity to positive infinity. Again, same thing for the range. Negative infinity, positive infinity. Just don't get these confused with square roots, because square roots, they start at a point and then go to the right. These go in both directions. So just know the difference, because you're going to have to know both. All right. Well, that is enough of me, I believe. Yep, this one is yours to do. So go ahead and pause the video and try this one out, please. Pause. Here is the correct key features and graph for example 3. So we have our vertex being -2, -3, because the x's lie, k does not. So we plot that vertex in our table in the middle. We went 1 on each side of the -2. So we went before to get -3, after to get -1. Then we, of course, plug those into the function to find out what they equate to, -4, -2. Plot those points and got our graph right here. And it's ending upward because, of course, the a value was a positive in front. Then, of course, we had to actually do some math because our table never gave us our x-intercept or our y-intercept. So we had to do some math here. So this piece right here was the information to find the x-intercept by just setting the equation equal to 0 and solving for x. And then this piece right here was where I got, oops, I forgot to put my answer, -7.1, -1.74, there we go, was what we did to find the y-intercept because we plugged in 0 for x and evaluated it. All right, we got one more left, and you know what? By golly, I think you can do it yourself, but, I'm going to tell you to do it yourself. So, you know what? Yep, I know you. I believe in you. I totally do. So, go ahead and pause this video and try this one out, please. Pause. All right, I'm thinking you actually stopped right here because you're probably a little confused on how to put the 2 that's in front of this cube root into your calculator. And I was messing around and realized if you press 2, oops, not too many 2s, press 2 and then go and do that root right here, it makes it the second root, which I don't want to do. So what I figure you have to do is you got to press 2. Hold on, let's clear this out. There we go. You got to press 2 times, because that's what it really is, it's times the cube root. And that way you can still make this a cube root. And you can still put your information in. So like we have -6 plus 5, exit out, plus 1, 1. There we go. We get negative 1. Whoa, they went by 2. Interesting. I wonder if there is a pattern. I think there is. It's all good. Let's do the next one. So 2 times the third root of negative 4 plus 5 plus 1. And of course, since our calculator is up, we can always just go up, highlight, move over, change that negative 6 to a negative 4, not 64. There we go. Enter. We get positive 3. Now we can graph these and get everything else as well. So here we go. Let's plot the point. Let's get our vertex first. Negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left, 1 up right here. Let's get those other points. Negative 6, negative 1 right here. Negative 4, positive 3 right here. This one's a very unique one because it's going to go like this. And then the other side's going to go like that. There you go. Now, of course, we know the domain and range. That's always the same. It's negative infinity, positive infinity, negative infinity, positive infinity. But the x-intercept and y-intercept, we actually got to calculate. We actually got to solve this by setting it equal to 0. So let's rewrite it, and let's solve for x by setting this equal to 0. We're going to minus 1 over first. Now we got to divide by 2. Now the cube root is by itself. Oh, look, we have a fraction. Oh, you guys are probably crying right now. Well, you have a calculator. Get over yourself. We're going to cube both sides, which means, yes, you got to cube that fraction. We get x plus 5 equals, and you know what? I am glad we have a calculator because I don't know how to do that. So I'm going to put in parentheses because it is in parentheses. Negative fraction sign 1 down 2 because it's 1/2. And we're going to raise that to the third power. Oh, 1/8. That's cool. Negative 1/8. Then we need to minus 5 over, so we got to subtract 5 from that. Well, hopefully you left that thing in your calculator screen because all you have to do is go minus 5 because it takes your previous answer. And we get negative 41/8, or approximately a decimal of negative 5.125. So there's our x-intercept, negative 5.125, comma 0, which we can see it definitely is right here. And then our y-intercept, that's a little bit easier. All you got to do is plug in 0 for x and solve. So I'm going to do it down here. It'd be 2 cube root of 0 plus 5 plus 1. What is that going to equal? And again, we can just keep scrolling back up to where we had the original one right here. Go ahead and change that negative 4 to a 0. And then, oops, we got to go back up and see our answer. That's the only part about doing that. There it is. 4.42 would be our y-intercept. So 0, comma 4.42. Again, we already talked about how the domain is negative infinity to positive infinity. The range is negative infinity to positive infinity because that is the range and domain for all cube root functions. That's all I got for today, so go ahead and continue doing the perfect practice to make sure you get this down because you definitely do want this down. And who knows, maybe watching one of those videos might be different than how I did it. Other than that, have a fabulous day.